Alright, first thing you'll probably notice is a Halloween bear that I made a few years ago. I looked in a book and they had all these different ideas of different things you could make for the holidays and stuff. And I had kind of gotten out of sculpting around that time period and I just wanted to do something simple, just kind of get back into it. So we have a bear in a Halloween costume. It's his cape, mask, and he's got a trick-or-treat bucket with all the little candies inside. See, I even used bright neon clay colors to show candy. So he's one of the first things I made a few years ago to get back into it. Another thing you'll notice here is Garfield. The easiest thing to do was the bed. The bed itself was actually just a bar of Sculpty clay. I just opened the package off and just modified it slightly and it became a bed. And then I grabbed some of my orange Sculpty and the other necessary colors I need and made Garfield. This was done probably maybe '03, I want to say, one of my earlier works. I also am a major superhero fan, so I made Captain America's shield and Mr. Fantastic, also known as Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. But this is a character called Pac. I saw him in a old school Nintendo Power, and it was an old game that came out for the Super NES. I never played it, but I thought he looked cool, and so I just made him. Again, I did that in early 2000s. All of this work is like 2001 to 2008, I want to say, maybe somewhere around there. This here is supposed to be Shinnok's amulet in the possession of Quan Chi. This was a piece that I was making for a Dungeons and Dragons concept. I wanted to make some pieces for a playable character. I was going to try to make Quan Chi in Dungeons and Dragons, so I was coming up with my own customizable pieces. So here we have the hand holding the amulet. I also made the skull wall. This was from Mortal Kombat Deception. It was revealed in, actually. In the very beginning intro, you see Quan Chi and Shang Tsung battling Raiden, and Raiden goes to hit Quan Chi with an electrical blast, and Quan Chi protects himself with a wall of skulls. So this was actually going to be a protection piece that I was going to use. I know it's a little silly, but like I said, all this was going to be for D&D back in like 2001, 2002, and it never came into place. Some of the players I played with kind of got out of it, and I got out of it, and so this is remnants of that. So without further ado, let's turn our attention to my treasure chest. So this box here is what I like to store all my finished creations in, and some unfinished. I stockpiled them all in here years ago. I'm not really sure what I have in here. I remember a lot of my creations, but some of them I forget because I've done a lot. So really what I'm going to do is we're going to open up the chest here and see what we got. This is going to be mostly Nintendo stuff. For starters, we have Bashful Bert from Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. He was a boss. He started out as a little miniature version of this form, and Kamek uses his magic wand and turns him into this menacing form that you see here. And as we look further in here, we have my Bowser statue. These first appeared in Super Mario Bros. 3 and later again in Super Mario World. They were immovable. As you can see here, there's a hole in his mouth. I originally designed it that a little flame would come out of there, and it would look like, he's spitting fire. I have the flame somewhere, but I'm not sure where. That's the Bowser statue. This is like a little sea urchin character. I forget his name, but he appeared in Donkey Kong Country 3. You would use Ungar the swordfish and just kind of hit him and knock him out of the water. Looks as though some of his spikes came off over the years. I'll have to repair him, but that's who he is. I mentioned Kamek earlier, the Magic Koopa. This is him. For the magic wand, I used a toothpick and just put Sculpty clay over it, really. I really tried to detail the robes. You'll see he's got gray, looks like black, blue, yellow there. So, that's my Kamek. He was in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. There's the target from the Smash Brothers series. Here we have a piranha plant. This is the one that actually comes out of the bushes in the very beginning of Super Mario World in the introduction. It had a little, like, propeller on the bottom, and it just kind of, comes up out of the bushes. like that. Pretty menacing. So here's a Hammer Brother, but it's the Hammer Brother from Super Mario World that was on the flying blocks. It's been years since I made him. I know I can probably do a much better job now, but, you know, I was a lot younger when I made him, so... Now, this villain, a lot of you might not recognize at first glance, but he is a mouse. I'm not sure of his name. I can look it up on Mario Peter later and tell you guys, but he's from Super Mario Land. His original appearance was in black and white, and when I looked into an old school Nintendo Power issue, I saw the box cover art for him or so, concept artwork, and these were the colors that he was, so I merely just copied it. This is the flying beetle shells from Super Mario Brothers 3. I don't know if you guys would remember, in the one level you had to hop across these. There was a whole bunch of them. They'd be flying through the air like this, and Mario would jump up and down on them and try to clear obstacles. They were like flying buzzy beetles, I guess, on a shirt. So you can see his head actually poking out a little bit. But that's what he was. We have here Poochie the dog. Poochie first appeared in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, and you had a level where you get to ride on him. He would appear again in Yoshi's Story for the Nintendo 64, which is what this appearance is based off of, and then again Yoshi's Island DS. I think in an interview Miyamoto said that Poochie was one of his favorite characters he made. Don't quote me on that. But a lot of people didn't really like Poochie. They had some mixed reaction. You'll notice he doesn't have a tail, a back end. It broke off some time ago, and I have to fix him. A lot of these have to be repaired, fixed, upgraded, but here they are. Okay, so here's one of my favorites, obviously. Bowser in the Koopa Clown Copter. This was in Super Mario World as a first appearance. Bowser would use it again in Paper Mario, the new Super Mario Brothers. The list goes on and on of what games he's appeared in this in. He's even had a trophy of this in Melee. I know in the later game they showed the angry clown face with the triangular eye, but when I created his first form, where he looks like this.